Match 14, baby.
Diving. 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 Diving.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving. Glory.
Yes, sir. Diving for glory, match 14. It's your host, Corsiola, under the weather, but still bringing tackles like your midfield holder. Sir Solomon, what up?
Yeah.
Yo, welcome back, my Depot Gistas. A lot to cover this week. More Manchester madness. Italy still on the come up, man. Champions League roundup. Our fourth manager victim of the season. A look at the team playing the best ball in Spain, and it's not who you might think it is. An unexpected touch on the MLS playoffs. And, man, the list of World Cup qualifiers previewed for you this week, man. All right, you you lead-footed lackeys. Boots lace, jerseys tuck, lineup set, formations taken, man. Let's go. All right, yeah, huge match. Couple huge matches in the EPL. We're going to start off in North London, man. Chelsea United. It's 1-0 Chelsea. Sir Solomon, let's get it on.
United finally got that work, man.
Man, finally.
Basically, Jose Mourinho has been putting out fucking pussy-ass sides in all of the big games that he's faced with. I think it's going back to his last few years at Real Madrid when he had got PTSD from Barca fucking them up a lot, and that's when I think he came up with that whole manifesto thing about how you win big games, and if you have the ball, you're more likely to make a mistake, so you don't need the ball, kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I heard his formation was a 7-3.
I mean, that's very...
It's close, man.
I was actually going to say that's flattering.
Yeah.
There were not three people in the offensive third. Ever.
You know, it didn't necessarily look like parking the bus, but it still didn't, man, that gap in midfield, like there's just nothing.
It looked like driving the bus around a little bit in the...
Pretty much. I'm going to park the bus here, park the bus there. It's about like, what it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like you parked in downtown, so you got to move it every half hour.
Yep.
But subtle things, you notice, like Chelsea came out with a 3-1-4-2 formation. They put Conte in front of the three, and then they allowed Bakayoko and Sis to go further up the field. Of course, the two on the outside are wingbacks. They're doing the same thing. They kept it tight. Zappacosta played really good. Alonso played really good. But the thing was, they were designed with their holder in the back, allowing their creative midfielders to go in front of him. And that's one thing that Chelsea has been missing without Conte. But that also shows the intent of Conte with the team. Whereas United came out with a 3-4-1-2, which seems very similar, and I know I'm sounding like some sort of nerd, but he had Matic and Herrera playing basically a double pivot, allowing Henrik Mkhitaryan to be the sole creator in front of them. This left him isolated. He's looked like shit ever. Like, he's good when you put him on one of the wider forward spots, and he creates from there. He's not your number 10. And if Mourinho had any inclination to be offensive, he would have played Juan Mata in that position with Pogba not there.
Yeah, it still just baffles me that Mata just does not get the run, dude. Like, this dude produces for Josie, and Josie just does not love this dude, man, at all.
Yeah, if you think with logic, he should play him. His thing is that he's not going to let it, on away games, don't let any goals in, and if they make a mistake, we take the points. This doesn't work. Like, if you take the Big Six as its separate league and look at results against each other, all the years the champion has been either best or second in that,
Yep.
Like last year when Chelsea won it, they were second best. The year before, Leicester was behind only, I think, Manchester United in wins in the Big Six, and so on. Like, his performance, he has 1 goal in the last 10 games away against the Big Six.
Wow, terrible.
8 straight without a goal. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously, man.
And, I mean, I understand Pogba not being there, but like the level, like, you know, Alex Ferguson, when he was coach and they would have a tough game against Tottenham at halftime, he'd walk into the locker room and say, "Come on, lads, it's Tottenham." That's how badass they were, and that would be enough for them to come back and just kick ass in the second half, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're here congratulating this guy who might maybe, if the other team messes up, get some points. Like, this is Manchester United. You're paying like 100 million, 80 million, all these transfer fees. Like, put out a team to break down somebody, man.
So for my money in watching that game, like, I mean, they're like obvious. This is like an obvious statement, but it really underscores, you know, how much they miss Pogba, because the link-up play is absolutely non-existent. Like, there's nothing. There's nobody to get that ball in the back and kind of break down some defenders and get them into the zone of actually having some offensive attacking acumen. Like, they totally miss that, and with that, it's like you can't.
I completely agree with you.
So what can you do for that?
But
with their personnel.
The thing is, over the course of a season, you're going to have injuries, and how you react to these is what shows your intent. Like, he does not have... You're trying to have shutouts, and your defensive pairings are Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. Like, and you have Juan Mata. Like, why don't you be more ambitious and try to score your way out of your predicament, as opposed to like just saying let's shut down, and you don't even have the cast of characters that's able to pull off the task you're setting.
And I think it's safe to say that even Chelsea's not the, you know, defensive stalwarts that they have been. I mean, they're susceptible. They're not like impregnable.
He sat back against Liverpool and they're congratulating him. I'm like, you're supposed to go chase Liverpool.
You're supposed to go bash them. Dude.
Everybody scores against Liverpool, and like this dude is like, oh yeah, you know,
we got a point at Anfield. Yay.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah,
Go for broken. Like, if you don't get it, that's fine. But like, this is Manchester, man. Not some small provincial team.
Agreed. And I think we know he won't last long because of this. And you brought this to my attention a while back, that Conte is really a more of a defensive coach. But it just seems to me that he at least, which we've said a million, we're beating a dead horse here. Josie just does not. It's like they don't practice offense. It's like there's no concept of what to do when they get the ball.
You know how defensively they're spaced so well? Like, why don't they continue the training session after? Okay, now you got the ball. Now, how do you get it from this guy to this guy? Like, there's no defensive plan other than try to get it to the winger as fast as possible and let's see what he can do. That's what he was doing with Hazard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you can't be coach of Manchester United and not know how to coach offense.
No. And depending on how this year plays out, like at this rate, dude, they're only a point. You know, this game had major ramifications. Chelsea, even though they sit fourth, they're only a point back of Man U and Tottenham at second place, which is tough. They got Liverpool and Atletico coming up in the next 3 or 4 matches. So I mean, this was a pretty big match. It's a pretty big match.
This match, always a Chelsea-Manchester United match, is pretty big to begin with, but both teams missing players and how both teams decided to deal with that issue. Like, Conte turned around his team, which was in complete disarray after that Roma loss, to where he had to kick David Luiz off of training on Saturday, and he wasn't even dressed. He put together his defense. Conte coming back really helped him, but he still went after the game, even though one of his best players is not even playing. Yep. His starting wingback, which was Moses, hasn't been playing for a while. Zappacosta had a good game, but.
Yep. So I asked, and I guess what I was saying about, you know, the results of it and what it means is, I mean, if United ends up finishing, let's say, 4th this year, which is very realistic, do they let him go? Do they let Mu go? Is he done after that?
I don't have much confidence in Ed Woodward and the people that are actually running United.
Okay.
Like, they were just last week talking about like a 6-year extension or something. And I can see them, by doing an extension, financially tying their hands to where they'll have to keep him for a while. So I would hope that they just hold off and see how it goes, because we're already reaching, if they fall out of contention in League and Champions League, then there's a very real chance that the Jose Mourinho reign could start to get really ugly, and it's better
Really
to not
ugly.
tie yourself up to anything just yet.
Agreed. Who was your man of the match for this game? What do you think?
It was between two guys, and I really wanted to give it to Conte because his return really changed the team, but I have to give it to Alvaro Morata. He scored a peach of a goal, and he ran at that defense. Phil Jones was never comfortable. Like, that guy really played his link up with Eden Hazard is really good, and he scored his 5th assist, I think, from Cesar Azpilicueta.
Yeah,
So-
he was the man of the match on who scored.
Yes.
Obviously, Hazard, I felt like, was his normal self. Conte obviously just opened up the rest of the midfield. And even though who scored doesn't agree with me, I liked what I saw from Bakayoko, man. He
I like
made
what I saw from Bakayoko too. His shooting wasn't like, his finishing was wayward, but he, for a guy that's been getting a lot of grief, he put in a solid shift. And defensively, he's covering for Cesc also, so like, you have to take that into account. These people have to work a lot for Cesc to be on the field.
true. And you want to do that similar to Ozil, like you want to give him that cover so you can let him do what he does.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Ah, yes, Ozil. That's a nice little segue. The ghost of Ozil seemed to be on the pitch this week. We'll move on to the next game.
When is the real one there?
Arsenal at Manchester City. This game ended 3-1 in City's favor, remaining undefeated. Tell us a little bit about this match, Sir Solomon.
This match transpired exactly how it should. 3-1 is very fair representation of what happened. Man City, was it not for some careless finishing and just general bad luck in the first half, should have put it away. Arsenal was lucky to get off with just 1-0 at halftime.
Absolutely. And I think we exchanged texts. Like, Arsenal didn't play like half bad. Like, they obviously didn't go in any worse than 1-0, and they had a couple opportunities there near the end in an away game. But typical Arsenal, like, it just takes it's like until the first goal is scored for them to like show any heart, any desire.
So Man City just stuck Fernandinho in the pivot, put out a clean 4-3-3 formation with just people running all over the place and good movement. Arsenal put out a 3-4-2-1, tried to load up the midfield. They got some chances. They didn't really look bad, but there was no clear theme to what they were trying to accomplish. Like Man City, even when they were missing, you could tell they're trying the same thing over and over. Okay, they're gonna unlock them soon. I see it coming from the right-hand side,
Yep.
Arsenal had no method to their madness. They would keep possession because they're good at that. They play monkey in the middle during fucking training, so they can do that. But like, their chances didn't really impress. I also put that down a little bit to the formation in terms of the front three that he put out.
Yeah. The surprise benching of the day there was Lacazette on the bench in favor of starting Sanchez up top all alone. Sanchez had an awful game, in my opinion.
Basically, Lacazette was benched for Iwobi when I would have put Alexis Sanchez in
the wing.
what was Iwobi's position and put Lacazette as a natural number 9 up front. Alexis Sanchez has always been better when he works off of another striker. I don't see him as your target man. Maybe it's because he's 5'2" or whatever the fuck he is.
Yeah.
But that seemed to give it away. Like, if you're just gonna really want to play with a target man and don't want to play Lacazette, I don't understand, because you paid an ass load of money for him. But like, at least putting in Giroud or something. But Alex Iwobi had no reason to be in that game.
I was very surprised to see him in that lineup. And to that point, explain what you think. Why was Ozil, to our point about Fabregas and talking about Ozil was nullified, completely nullified. He offered very little to the game. What did tactically, what did Wenger do wrong there?
Ozil works better with, like I said, I think Lacazette should have been there. He works better with multiple targets. Alexis could make one run. Iwobi is more of a box-to-box, not a scoring option. And also, he's just shit, so I don't know what he was doing there. And also, Aaron Ramsey, I don't feel came up, made runs, and was closer to Ozil. If you leave Ozil in space, like he ghosts into it and defenders can't find him, but if the team doesn't go out of his way to also locate him, he's useless. Yeah. He's not going to go and get the ball, and you have to find him, and that's up to the coach to create a game plan that works. If you're going to put him in on a big game, then I'm tired of talking about how bad he was. Figure out a way to use him.
So two big question marks in the game was let's look at both of them. Was the penalty on Sterling? Did you feel like it was a PK?
Yes,
I agree, man. I mean,
anybody that's really bitching about it doesn't understand the kind of speed that we're working with either.
Yeah,
like Ronaldo once said when they talked about diving, like, I'm not going down unless there's contact. How much contact it is, we can discuss, but there was contact, and when a guy that fast and that small gets touched, he goes down. You should know that as a defender.
Yep, absolutely.
And fucking Arsene Wenger trying to go out there and make it about that and said he dived, we were in the game, we could have won it if it wasn't for Sterling. That's what he does. Fuck you.
See now, dude.
Worry about yourself.
See now, dude. Eating that bad French cheese.
Like, you put out a shit team. You got a fucking 40 million purchase sitting on your bench when you need goals, and you're talking that shit? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, 6 shots, 3 on target. That's what Arsenal mustered.
Dude, Man City had 16 successful dribbles to Arsenal's 5.
No surprise.
And
man.
like, it's not like some guy took over. No Man City player took more than 2 shots. Like, they played it perfectly, and this guy is out there talking that shit. You want to be as quiet as possible so nobody remembers this game, son.
Yeah, like, take, like the fact that it ended at 3-1, which is what everybody expected. You should just move on to next week.
Take that L and go home, son.
The third goal, Jesus, offside, right? Yeah, absolutely. But it didn't matter, because there was like three goals that Sterling blew.
That's what I was going to say. The fact that he chose to talk about Sterling when Raheem Sterling's wasteful finishing is the only reason Arsenal looked like a team yesterday, was hilarious to me. Just send him flowers, buy him a bottle of wine, not talk shit about him.
Yep. So, end results of this has Arsenal falling to 6th place with 19 points. They have 4 losses already. Before January 3rd, in the next 6 weeks, basically, they have Tottenham, Man U, Liverpool, and Chelsea. You know it can get real ugly, dude. They got Europa games in between, and you know they're going to blow some of those other games that they'll probably be favored in. It can get real ugly real fast for Arsenal as well.
They're qualified in the Europa, so they're not going to play anybody in there. So it's not really going to affect them too much.
Damn, they already qualified?
Yeah.
Damn.
With kids.
Damn.
Like, he's not doing all wrong.
It shows you how much I pay attention to Europa.
I mean, as you should.
So, City with a 9-point lead, 11 games in, plus 31 goal differential, man. They have 52 goals already this season across all competition.
I thought it was a 8-point lead.
No. Yes, 8 points. 23 to 31. You're right.
Okay.
Yep. 8-point lead. I was actually thinking about on whatever. Doesn't matter what I was thinking. Man of the match. Just did my math wrong.
You're like, whatever.
Man of the match. I got KDB, man.
Yeah, might as well. Like, there's a lot of
good players,
but
and none of them
actually KDB. Yeah, that's definitely has to be. I want to give it to Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Because all those guys ran around because Fernandinho shut it down. I think Fernandinho should get it.
He's been the dude, man. He's been their Conte.
Yeah, especially since like a lot of guys played at KDB's level in this game because they were all so free that it must be somebody making them play, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you really don't have to worry about cleaning up anything in the back. Woo,
At all.
nice.
Helps by Arsenal having no game plan, but okay.
They'll take it. Always helps, man. Always helps. All right, man. Let's move on to Bavaria. With the battle of the bees, BVB. Dortmund versus Bayern, man. 3-1 Bayern at Dortmund.
Dortmund got the Manchan.
Yeah, man. They got worked. They got worked.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I don't know, you get some sort of comfortable feeling about watching Dortmund lose to Munich with Robin and Lewandowski scoring. It's like Sanford and Son rerun or something. It's been going on forever.
It very much has the feeling of the Atletico Real so-called rivalry or whatnot.
Yes, they had those couple of years with Jurgen Klopp before he forgot that defense is part of football. But outside of that, they're shitting on him. Bayern played a 4-3-3. Jupp Heynckes is really resurrected this team, and for the two midfielders in our season preview, if you recall, that I was hype about, are finally coming together nicely. Thiago and James Rodriguez.
James
that might be one of the scariest midfield combinations in world football right now.
Yeah, dude, young and athletic and like hella skill on the ball, man. Woo.
He's got him back to a 4-4-3. Javi Martinez, who had completely fallen off the radar under Ancelotti. Pep was using him as a defender, but he's famous for, they just paid Athletic Bilbao like 40 mil, which was his release clause. They didn't even negotiate with him. They just gave him a check and left. But so he was benched. He was out of the team, kind of like Thomas Muller was. Yep. Now, in that holding midfield role, he rocked it against fucking Dortmund. And that allowed James, like you said, with his 2 assists, and Thiago to just ball out.
Work. Mm-hmm. Robin had lovely goal. Typical Robin. Nice curler in the corner.
Cut in and lift. Cut in and shoot with lift.
Curl it in, dude. Curl it in. Lewandowski credited with 1 goal, but he really had 2, man. In my opinion, that second one was definitely his. But it went to somebody else. But it was off.
It went to Alaba, but it was off him, I guess. But who cares? He's scoring enough. His performance overall was a typical Lewandowski, clinical. Like that guy is a man.
Robot. The lone bright spot, uncharacteristically so far this year, was Pulisic for Dortmund. He was the creator. He's the main guy doing anything over there. That they didn't have much, man. They got a consolation goal, which came on a Pulisic assist.
I mean,
Aubameyang totally nullified.
Aubameyang totally nullified because Aubameyang was totally isolated. That assist was like a fantasy assist because he just kind of hero balled it after he gave it to him.
Yeah.
But the 4-2-3-1 formation that he put out was just too fucking offensive. It's just a fake. Like those two are, none of them are holding midfielders. Peter Bosz, if he survives this season in Dortmund, I'll be surprised. He's not ready to be a coach of a club of that caliber because he's very raw and doesn't understand anything about defense.
Where was he last year? He got
Ajax.
Okay, so that's
he's famous because they made the Europa final against Manchester United where they just laid down.
Yeah.
But like, really, the bigger news was that on his watch, Feyenoord won their first Dutch league since like the 90s or some shit. You know?
Yeah. Rough out there, Bosch.
But yeah, he's going, so, I don't know how long he's going to be Boschman over there.
Dude, I felt like it was like a week ago that we were talking about Bayern being like 7-8 points down. They now have a 4-point lead.
Yes, 6 over
6 over Dortmund, 4 over RB. Undefeated under what up, yup. BVB has been 2-2-4 in their last 8 matches across all competitions, man.
Don't they have a PSG return game coming up? Or have they played both?
What? Okay.
Did they play both games against PSG?
PSG? Yeah, they played both.
Okay.
No, they have they're not PSG. No, they have the Real game coming up. That's what they have.
No, I'm talking about Bayern.
Oh, Bayern. Oh, I thought you were talking about... No. Yeah, they have the PSG game coming up.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the same Bayern Munich team that the PSG made look like shit the first time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be much more of a game.
Yep.
Bayern Munich is back, people. I will say right now, one of the contenders for this year's Champions League. They fixed their problem early. They're loaded. Bayern Munich is one of the top 3 or 4 teams in Europe.
No doubt. It wasn't looking like that early on. Man of the match for this.
I want to give it to
James with 2 assists.
2 assists, and generally, he was Ancelotti's man when Jupp Heynckes came in. It was expected that he was the one to lose his spot. Some injuries have occurred, but generally, he's balled out at every opportunity, showed maximum professionalism, and he was the guy. And that was the game of the season, really, for Germany, and he took it over. That was impressive.
Who scored had Robin as man of the match. He was pretty awesome in his game as well.
Yeah, there's a little bit of it's Robin, so I'm used to it, so I don't, some famous players, you just kind of get used to them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, James was more unexpected. That's why he stood out to me, I guess.
No, absolutely. All right. Enough of Bavaria. Let's move on down to the boot. And Fiorentina, Roma at Fiorentina. Roma following up an impressive Champions League win. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But following up a very impressive win with another impressive win over Fiorentina, a 4-2 win. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Roma are now have the longest away winning streak in Serie A history. It's
really wow.
It's just 12 games. That's the record, though. It was 11 before, and now it's 12. But that shows you how competitive generally Italian football is. But Fiorentina away, it's a tricky match, and Roma came off of like you just said, the Chelsea game, where they absolutely wowed the world. And first half, they alternated between looking spectacular and the offensive juggernaut that they have been, and extremely messy. And Gerson, I don't know how the fuck Brazilian says it, but he had 2 really good left-footed shots in the first half. They were cancelled out by fucking Veratut, or however the fuck you pronounce it, and
oh shit,
Michael Corleone of football, Giovanni Simeone, the son of Diego Simeone, scored a goal.
That's a nice header, dude.
Nice header. That guy is actually a very nice number 9. He's big, he's fast, he's got good feet. Watch out for him in a few years. He's going to be not top tier club, but like the Valencias, the Sevillas of the world. You might see him there at some point.
Okay. And this seemed to be a pretty exciting game, man.
Very exciting first half. First half is 2-2.
2-2. 40 total shots for the game. 16 shots on target. It's a lot of shooting.
Yes.
2-2 at half, and then
in the second half, the funny thing is the goal that broke the tie open by Kostas Manolas just kind of came off him. It was a cross, and it deflected off somebody else, and he kind of happened to be there, and it went in. But by then, Roma had already taken a firm grip on the game. Like, they went into the tunnel, and when they came back, it was like, I think, what's his name? Eusebio Di Francesco just told them, yo, guys, stop bullshitting. So they came out and just dropped 2 on them. Fucking Perotti topped it off, but it was impressive. Roma, like, this weekend, Inter, Napoli dropped points, Juve won, and like Roma showed their intent. Like, they won, they're right in the mix of it, they have a game in hand.
Yep, and that was going to be my next comment. Was Roma keeps pace, even though they are in 5th place, they're only 5 points off the top with that game in hand. Huge match for them after the international break. We'll cover that a little bit later. Fiorentina fall to 9th. Well placed in the mid-table, probably where they're going to finish for the year. Man of the match, who you got?
Gotta give it to Gerson. He scored 2 really nice goals. Dzeko really played nice as a target man. He had assists. El Shaarawy had a good game, but he scored 2 goals.
Put in 2, yep. Roma had 4 players with assists. That was pretty sweet, man. A lot of action going on there.
15 dribbles won and 21 shots taken. Like, they were... Like Di Francesco has them playing very, very beautiful football. Like a team that we'll talk about a little later, Valencia. But like Roma is quietly doing the work. If you have I know people like to watch their primary team, but if in Italy right now you kind of want to watch some games, Roma's games are good because you don't know what direction they're gonna go. But when they go nicely, they're one of the most entertaining teams you're gonna see.
Italy is shaping up to probably be the most exciting title race of the Big 5 leagues. The other ones are looking like they may be over a little early. We'll see about that, though.
I agree with Italy being the most exciting. I don't think...
Doesn't mean they're the best.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that the Spain one is over by a mile because Barcelona has a broken system and Real Madrid can always catch them.
Yep.
Manchester City is wrapping shit up.
Yep. Bayern will be done by Christmas, like you said.
Yeah, Bayern have just put their Band-Aid on. They're good. They've taken their fucking Advil.
PSG too. Yeah.
Yeah, PSG. They got it. But the Italy one, even if somebody breaks away and becomes champion, like the following group of teams have so many storylines. It's very exciting to watch. AC Milan, are they up or are they down? Inter Milan, same question. Napoli, how long can they keep going with such a small team? Like Roma, they have their storylines.
Lazio.
Yes. Lazio has like a strict salary cap or something and they pay nothing and yet they're always disturbing people.
Are they're the Tottenham of Italy, man?
Well, Tottenham are called the Yibs because they have a large Jewish following, and Lazio are fascists. So kind of not.
the Mussolini's team.
Yes. Remember Paolo Di Canio did a Roman salute once and got into trouble for it.
For real? Yeah. Oh, it gets
he has
deep
a
and
tattoo
dark.
saying El Duce.
It gets deep and dark on Diving for Glory sometimes, man. Ugh. All right, man. Let's move on, man. It's time for the midfield. Let's get you with the Champions League roundup. Take that. All right, man.
That's what Roma said to Chelsea.
Man, that is right where we'll start, man. That was one of the there's some big results in this Champions League round. Starting with a 3-0 drubbing of Chelsea by Roma at Roma.
The little Pharaoh got him.
Man, they got worked, man.
Roma ran them ragged. 3-0 was a flattering scoreline. Beautiful goals. El Shaarawy was doing his fucking thing. But Roma, I'm telling you, there's something about picking a system and drilling it into your players. I understand if you have players of a certain caliber, you can start adjusting, but this guy knows what he's working with, so he tightened it up, and that's one thing they had against Chelsea. Chelsea didn't have Conte. This is why Conte is so important. Yeah. Chelsea had no control over that midfield.
This was something tactically that Conte totally Conte, whatever the hell, not Conte, but Conte took blame for. He had Cesc as the defensive mid. I believe he had Cahill playing on the right. He had Rudiger out on the left. I mean, he did a lot of crazy things in this game and totally paid the price for it.
So it's the discussion after this game where David Luiz questioned his tactics that led to all the shit. Yeah, he did completely fuck up the team, and that's why in the United game, he moved Cesc further up and had Conte there. But that's also part of the Cesc conundrum, you know what I'm saying? How can you play? He took a lot of flack for it, and I get it. But it looks like he turned it around, used David Luiz as a fucking example, and this might be the game that turns Chelsea's season around.
Yeah, let's also mention at the end of the day that Conte was the English football player of the year last year, so it's not like
Only that.
he's just some defensive holder or something. Like, he's like the fucking guy who opens up your entire squad.
Yeah, and Zappacosta being just now getting acclimated. Because, like, Victor Moses, say what you want about going forward, which I have no respect for his offensive game, which I should. But he had that right side covered. They were not getting attacked down his side. He was playing solid defense. His who scored ratings was always high. And he goes down at the same time as Conte. That is a lot of what had their defense solid. Mm-hmm. And you can't just bring in two guys. Even if they are defensively good, it takes time.
Nope, absolutely. Move on from that, man. The other major result, or one of the other major results, Tottenham 3-1 over Real, man. We always love when Real loses for glory.
Yeah.
The misery continues. We love it.
The flying vagina loses.
It was all like, some. There's like a little bit of a question mark on all. There's one major question mark on one of the goals, and then a small question mark on the other ones. But it doesn't matter. 3-1, man. Tottenham is well held their own against Real, and they put it to them this match. But Real had plenty of chances though.
Real had plenty of chances. Real is going through a bit of a funk. It looks like this weekend over Las Palmas, they might have kind of cured it a little bit. But if you're going to play against Real Madrid during the past 3 years, that week was the best time to play them. Because morale has been low. Ronaldo has looked, I don't know, I don't think he's been tanning enough or something. He doesn't look happy. Something is missing in his life. But they've just looked a little stodgy, and they just need a little bit motivation or whatever. But they just got them at a good time. And Tottenham played their asses off. They're tired of people talking about that Manchester loss, man. Like, they played like they wanted to shut people up.
Yeah, it's true. There's no more nonsense about that.
I don't know if Madrid would have just taken that 3-1 if they had come in after just losing to Barca or something,
Yeah.
Tottenham looked like they wanted it so much more.
Yeah, so much for that Wembley curse. Huge crowd there. Too.
Such history. It's so far down the line now.
Yeah, nobody's thinking about it. That was major. That's just major from
until
an
their next
institutional
loss.
Standpoint. Yeah, of course. Other notable results. City 4-2 over Napoli. I think the big thing here is that, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, Napoli's going to be a problem in the group stage. Napoli is on the verge of elimination.
it shows you how high the general level of competition in championship group stages are. Even the team that you're looking down on in 4th place or 3rd place, they're champions. They're big, players on that team, game changers. And if you're not ready from the get-go, starting from the summer transfer, Champions League will eat you up and spit you out, man.
Yeah, it's true. City looked their typical selves. Napoli definitely tested them, man. They had an injury in the middle of the game that kind of affected what went on. But either way,
Napoli, both City games, they started to play seems like they unclenched their assholes after City had scored a couple of games and the game's out of hand. They're like, oh, okay, fuck it, let's play. Why don't you play that game that you play once you're 2-0 down from the beginning, and let's see what you're made of and judge you on that? Have you noticed? It seems like both games, they just started 30 minutes later than Manchester City.
Well, I kind of felt like this was the opposite in the first game. Napoli was really on it at the beginning. They look way better. Like City looked so dominant in the first 20 minutes of that first game.
But they look more urgent after they get scored on, is what I mean. Like, they keep the ball and they look nice, but once they get scored on a couple, like, their play has urgency.
Mm-hmm. They opened up the scoring in this game, did they not? I think they did.
I believe so.
Yep, they went down 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. They went down 2-1, and then they came back and evened it up.
Yeah, but their concentration at the highest level needs to last 90 minutes in the Champions League.
And that's
you have a few moments and you'll get fucked.
Yep.
And that transition, even Sarri, the coach, like, yeah, you're cute in Italy, you're doing your thing, we see you, but these are what... You have a couple of games left. Like, this is what's going to determine what kind of legacy you have. Don't look like a boy among men.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, other interesting results involved a bunch of draws. Olympiacos drew Barcelona. Barcelona just not the team that their record suggests. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Atletico drew again at Karabag.
Atletico is paying the price for the transfer ban that they had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries are hitting them. Form is off. Diego Simeone ran them through the fucking wall, but like now they're too thin, so they look ragged.
Mm-hmm. Juve with the draw.
Juve had to take a break from beating ass in Italy.
Yeah. So with all that being said, let's wrap this part up. Let's say Sevilla rebounded with a win.
And they got tired of embarrassing themselves?
Got smashed last week.
5-1?
5-0, I believe. They got smashed. Liverpool, Man U continue to smash the small teams. Monaco and Dortmund, they drew to continue their disappointing campaigns. PSG, Manchester City, Tottenham are all secured for the group stage. Man United, Bayern, Barcelona, Besiktas, and Shakhtar only need a point or so to
I think
get
Juventus
into the group.
is right there too. Barcelona and Juventus are going to advance from that.
I mean, they are, but they're not right there like those other teams. But yeah, they're going to advance. I mean, they are. And they have to play Barcelona again as well. Group E and Group C are wide open. Group E is Liverpool, Sevilla, and Spartak Moscow. Group C being Roma, Chelsea, Atletico, and you would be surprised to think that Karabag is still in it, but they're not gonna make it. But if they got a few amazing results, like they're mathematically still alive. But Roma,
Whoever
Chelsea,
comes
Atletico.
out of that group in second place is going to be a very, very scary proposition for whoever wins the group. Like, we were talking with homeboy Neb, and I'm already kind of bracing myself for a Chelsea-Barca second round draw.
Would not be good for Barcelona.
Wouldn't be good for
Let's
anybody.
put it that way, man. No, but let's talk about something else that's not that good, and that's been West Ham this year. Another one bites the dust. Slaven Bilic got the axe today.
Yes.
Tell us about it, man. 2, 3, and 6 so far this year. 9 points in the relegation zone.
I mean, it's a very, very unsurprising news. But Slaven Bilic, it's a combination of he couldn't adjust when things went off script, and also the ownership building a team that makes no sense and has no fluidity in their transfer system. So he replaced Big Sam, and his first year he had Payet. Dimitri Payet. Remember that, dude? I just don't think you understand.
That fucking guy. Yeah.
But anyways, he was hell-bent on trying to make the France team for the Euros and balled out like no other. So he made the team. They finished in 7th. And instead of trying to find somebody to be like the face of the franchise kind of player, which they've wanted, they decided, okay, let's make him, because the fans love him so much now. Problem was, once he was done with that, he didn't want to be in no fucking West Ham. He wanted to go back to France and live the,
Yep,
back
absolutely.
in Marseille.
Yep.
And that caused pandemonium last year. You remember how it was at the beginning of the year. And they recovered from that, and he finished 11th. But the thing about him is that he puts out like weird teams. They have too much talent to only have 2 victories.
Yes.
Like, you have Chicharito, Lanzini, Ayu, Arnautovic. Like, if each one of these guys just wins you 1 game, that's 4 games.
Yep.
No, not counting the great and mighty Andy Carroll.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So it was unsurprising that they got rid of him, but then they turned around and they decided that if you find yourself in a hole, you should keep digging, and they hired David Moyes. I don't think it's official, but that is the word, is that David Moyes is going to be the next West Ham coach.
The guy who was in the same exact position last year.
So I was like listening to the Guardian podcast, and the guy said, well, if he's going to do it like he did at Sunderland, in his opening press conference, he's going to tell them how bad the situation is and how likely they are to get relegated, thereby turning off the last of the fans that was not already turned off by this team. And then he'll go about doing things in a haphazard manner until they're guaranteed relegation.
It's bad over there, man.
The fans are not happy. Twitter is a buzz. David Moyes, nobody wants him. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible sighting. He's so dated, and his last 2 jobs have been farce. And I'm not even counting Manchester United in this.
Yeah, was it
Real Sociedad and Sunderland? Like,
yeah.
Why is he the guy you figure will fix your problem when he has no history of doing such things?
He basically kept Everton in the mid-table and for however long, and somehow got the Manchester United job.
Yeah,
off
but
that.
What I'm saying is, like, I would understand if a team like West Brom or something hired David Moyes and say, okay, keep us at around 9th. Like, it's kind of not chaotic and just do your job. He'll do what he did at Everton. But if you're struggling in a relegation battle and is tooth and nails, like, he's not the guy for that. We've seen this like 4 months ago.
No. It's too bad Big Sam is not an issue here. Big Ham.
This situation is made for Big Sam, who, by the way, I really, really want him to get that Everton job.
That would be perfect for him. That would be absolutely perfect. Big Ham. I mean Big Pam. I mean Big Sam. Word.
Alardici,
man. Yeah, I always like it when he's back in the league, man. All right, enough on that, man. Fine. Slaven, you're done. Peace. See you later. You'll pop up somewhere else, I'm sure. Hopefully it's not like, Turkish league or something.
Chances are yes.
Let's move on to a team that's surprising a lot of people so far, that could very well be playing the best ball in Spain. And it's not Atletico, and it's not Real, and it's not Barcelona.
Atletico has never tried to play the best ball anywhere.
Man, they have a title under their belt within the last 5 years.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of people to get that title.
Acosta.
Yes. Anyways, I wanted to talk today about Valencia.
Yay.
Valencia has always been one of the second tier. Like, of course, Spain is Real Madrid and Barcelona dominant, and then there's a group of teams behind them that, when they have flashes, come up and win championships. But generally, they have amazing fan bases and great styles of play. Valencia is one of them, but they're one of the most up and down teams you'll ever see. So, Valencia in the early 2000s, that's where your boy Rafa made his name. Current Newcastle coach.
Really? I didn't know that.
Won the league with Valencia and the Europa.
Oh, wow.
And that is what Liverpool got him from, because he was this amazing technician, whatever. But they've always had great academy and exposed kids to playing at a young age, and therefore have produced like Juan Mata, David Silva, like a lot of players, David Villa, have played through Valencia, you know?
Mangala.
And at the time, Mr. Pablito Aymar, he balled out there. Gaisca Mendieta, like Romario had a stint down there. Valencia has always been a pool of talents, but the frustrating thing was that due to front office mismanagement, they had kind of fallen off. They were on the brink of relegation a couple of times. They almost got relegation due to financial irregularities a few times. So they've been struggling. Their main issue was caused by the fact that they built a stadium before having any plan of what to do with their current stadium, and that was when the market collapsed in like the mid 2000s, whatever, like the big crash. Yeah. And that really set them back. But in 2014, Peter Lim, a Singaporean businessman, purchased them, and by August 2014, he had gotten 70% of the vote of the share. And he went about trying to change the team and bring it back to its glory. At first, it was kind of nonsensical. He was firing coaches left and right, and he even hired Gary Neville, who didn't work out, of course. But after doing this randomness, they always accumulate through loans and whatever good young players. And when this summer he decided to sign, last year he decided to sign Marcelinho, and this summer this guy had a talk with all the players. He's like, look, we can win, I'll play y'all, but he's a strict nutrition and physical fitness fanatic. If you are more than 8% body fat, you will not play.
Man,
like really? That, son.
I need to go. I just want a fucking intern over there.
Man, Laughing for Glory will be cancelled.
Immediately. My right eye and her hand has more than that. Oh, man.
But he's like the players like Dani Parejo and all them. At first they struggled because they basically had to start starving themselves. And in Spain, the culture is of like late dinners and stuff, like a lot of grilled foods, you know? So they took him a little while to adjust, but in order to do that, he got rid of a lot of the bigger names. Like Enzo Perez, Diego Alves, Alvaro Negredo, Ayman Abdennour, like they had to go. These are all Jorge Mendes agent, his clientele, and like if they didn't get rid of him, the pay packages were too big. So once they got rid of him, they moved it towards the kids with Gonzalo Guedes, Carlos Soler, the previously mentioned Dani Parejo, who you should check out. Is an excellent number 10, like a traditional Spanish player should be, and he's amazing to watch.
So this year they sitting undefeated, 8-3-0. They opened the season with 3 draws, which means they've won 8 in a row, 9 across all competitions. They drew both Madrid teams they played already. They have no Europe to worry about. 27 points, second place, 4 or 3 behind Barca. 4 points behind Barca.
And Simeone Zaza has 9 goals. You know where he played that he could never ever score, and is such a fucking joke?
Where?
West Ham.
West Ham.
He can't stop scoring. Like, the new system is very direct, and like that's why he wants all his players to be fit, is because he's trying to play a very tight team that counter-attacks the shit out of you at very fast speeds and takes a lot of shots, and it is working. Look out for Dani Parejo, Santi Mina, and Gonzalo Guedes. These players are balling out of their fucking mind. You should definitely catch some Valencia game.
Well, it would definitely be nice to see another contender in La Liga this year. I'm pretty sure neither one of us have much faith in Barcelona keeping that lead. The way they've been looking certainly is going to make this a more interesting race. And it'd be nice to to have somebody else besides Real and Barcelona compete. It should be fun.
Yes, definitely. I hope that they have enough depth to last. But a team with young kids like that, they'll fall off. But as long as they make the big guys, Atletico, Barca, Real Madrid, they trounced Sevilla a few weeks ago. As long as they beat those teams, then the project looks good going forward. Very exciting project.
Mm-hmm. All right, on to the forward section. We're going to get to our awards. Dude of the week goes to
the man named after cartoon, Sergio Kun Aguero.
City champion, all-time City scorer. 176 goals.
Yes, you have to do something. Like when he just scored a penalty, people might be confused and think why, but this guy came after having two solid careers, one in Argentina and one in Spain. And in his third career, he's already the most prolific scoring person at the job that he's at. Of all time, in a club that's been around for more than 100 years.
Yep. I think they said the highest scoring rate of any striker in Premier League.
In the Premier League history, the highest goals per game per 90 ratio ever.
I just laughed all summer when it was this coon for fucking Sanchez. I was like, all right, why? Makes zero sense on any level.
But looking at him against Arsenal, I think that was never the case. I think that Sanchez would be in that Raheem place.
Absolutely. Yeah, which is why I don't think it was a real thing. I think it was a media created thing.
I think Arsenal asked for the exchange with.
Okay, yeah, maybe they did.
Anyways,
and then we'd have to quote. We'd have to quote the boys from Liverpool. I'm not sure what they're smoking over there at the Emiratis. You know me and my...
Love it. Make the language work for you.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Twat happened moment of the week, man. Our boy. Love bringing our boy back.
Balotelli.
Yeah.
The striker. Mario, the man, Balotelli, who just... If you think it's the award based on lifetime achievement, just this season, the team got scored on because he was busy on the sideline getting his earrings taken off. This has happened this season. He has, in a game, cursed out his teammates at halftime because they gave up 3 goals in 10 minutes. This game, he scored the winning goal.
Yes, sir.
Which is what happened moment upon itself, but that's not it. He finished off the game by getting sent off close to the end of the game. In a moment where he clearly lost his mind. He did not need to have that tackle at all. It's just because the guy tackled him to get the ball. And then on his way out, scared the shit out of some old dude that was just sitting there.
No reaction.
No reaction. Here's too much provocation. No reaction. 46 minutes. Red card.
Oh, man. Balotelli.
Say, Mario, please.
What happened, man? What happened? All right, man.
Mario happened.
Goal of the week, man.
Marcos Asensio.
Real.
Yes, the game, Las Palmas came in. They came, they saw, they laid down. But that goal, how a cleared cross, he volleys into the corner that way. The form was perfect. Asensio has been doing his thing. I mean, fuck him, but that shit was dope.
Yes, sir. It was a fucking rocket, man. With a beautiful curl on it.
Let the record show I wanted to give this to Alvaro Morata just because I hate Real.
It was a major goal, too. It was a really nice header, though. Just a bullet.
Yeah, but this is...
Yeah, for sure. And then we're going to bring back the Dini Award, man. And this week it goes to our boy.
My man, he made an appearance last week. Like Snoop in Dr. Dre's first album, he took over. Nabil Fekir, in a special about Monaco, it became about him. And then this week, he went one step further, and in a 5-0 game, scored 2 goals and then took his shirt off Messi style and proceeded to show it to the Saint Etienne fans. This was a big derby, so that caused a fucking riot. Whoa, good stuff.
Get it going, dude.
Take your kids, French people.
Yeah. Man, honorable mention to motherfucking Patrice Evra.
Yes.
Like, if that doesn't...
Did you see the Twitter where they said the kid said, "Hey, I hate Mondays." Say, "Don't be jealous. I love this game. Happy Monday." Oh, fucking dumb bitch.
So bad, dude.
And he kicked his own fan.
Roundhouse, not like kick, like
And
son's been
then
practicing.
proceeded to fucking moonwalk the fuck out of that joint. Like, if you gonna start kicking people, like, fucking fight.
Straight double dragon type shit, dude. Damn, son.
Like, I gotta do a foot jab.
Woo! All right, man. We're gonna do something we wouldn't normally do, man. We're gonna drink a Miller Lite here and talk about MLS.
Started with I don't usually,
but MLS playoffs, man. A few interesting things happened. Quickly gonna run through the results here. Portland lost 2-1 to Houston, 2-1 aggregate overall. New York NYC FC beat Columbus 2-0, but still lost 3-4 aggregate, so Columbus advanced. And the big match of the day, well, hold up, before we even get to that, earlier in the week, Seattle beat Vancouver in one of their little derbies.
Behind one of their little derbies. Behind, what's his face?
Dempsey Brace.
Yeah,
Dempsey
he's
looking
back.
like Arda Turan Jr. With his
Dempsey
new beard.
Turan.
For real. He like, hey, his first goal, dude, the ball movement off that was gorgeous, actually, man, for MLS.
So last year, this time, he was having heart issues, and now he's back. So I think that's a big thing for Seattle.
Absolutely, Seattle defending champion Seattle at that. But the big story of the MLS playoffs this week was
I didn't even say
Toronto.
the only story. I'm defending anybody.
The Toronto FC losing to New York Red Bulls, but advancing on away goals 2-2 aggregates. My boy Josie Altidore
Out the dough.
And what's the guy's name? Clayton?
Sasha Kleiston and Josie Altidore.
Both picked up yellows. Tell us about this, Sir Solomon.
Well, during the game, the second legs were expected to be contentious because everybody was leaving their tackles in, and especially little Jovinko was getting the work. And he looked like he came out in this game like not giving a fuck and was getting stuck in himself. And on one of his tackles in the 33rd minute, he hits Tyler Adams rough. Foul gets called. Then all of a sudden the big boys have to come and protect the little ones because Jovinko is what, like 5'3.5", 5'4"?
4'11", dude.
That too. I saw him with his shoes on. But Jovinko and whatever happens, Altidore and Sasha Kleiston get in each other's face like they're about to fight. As soon as Sasha Kleiston puts his hands on Altidore's chest to push him back, Altidore
Dove for glory.
Oh my god. I think there must have been some sort of chloroform, because I have not seen, like, only kidnapped victims just collapse that quickly.
Dude, as big as that dude is, too, man. Like, Altidore is like all chest, too, man. Like,
He came at him. I'm like, you ran across. Like, he was there. But anyways, apparently, they both get yellows, and now the Kleiston dude actually thinks he's a bitch, so he decides at halftime he wants more. Chases, like, follows him down to the Toronto locker room side, and the scuffle starts, at which Altidore claims they tried to, like, come upon him and choke him, and it's just a shit show.
both get reds at halftime. So, in today's world, trigger fingers become Twitter fingers. So let's talk about the Twitter. Let's see. Kleiston told reporters after the game that Josie Altidore shoved him into the wall to start the halftime practice. I have a clear conscience, he said. Pricelessly, Altidore responds on Twitter, "Yo, at Sasha Kleiston, Why you snitching, bro? You tried to pull up on me while my back was turned and almost got that work. Safe flight.
I love the bro and the safe flight. Like, he finds time to be well-mannered during these times.
Why you snitching, though? Why you snitching? We was just going to fight. We was just going to fight.
And it's like, why are you snitching? You're on Twitter, too.
You're on Twitter, too. At least he deleted his post, in all fairness.
Okay. Somebody needs to punch somebody instead of this Twitter shit. MLS, that was the only time I'm going to talk about you for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Holla. All right, man. All right, man. Upcoming. All right. International break is coming up. So the upcoming section, we have some interesting qualifiers. A lot of qualifying going on.
Final up.
So the African qualifiers are being played. They're still finishing their group stage. They have 3 spots still open. Egypt and Nigeria have already qualified. Tunisia and Congo are Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes, the one that used to be Zaire.
Yep. They play Tunisia. Or no, they do not play Tunisia, but one of them will advance. Tunisia tops that group right now with 13 points. Congo has 10. They do not play each other. And in this scenario, goal difference does matter. Cote d'Ivoire plays Morocco. They play head to head. Only a draw will work for Morocco. Cote d'Ivoire needs to win to advance.
Yes, that's the most exciting game, I think.
Absolutely. Group D is kind of weird. They're all mathematically alive. South Africa, Senegal both have 2 games to play. Burkina Faso have 1. Cape Verde have 1. Mathematically, every team is alive, so that's pretty wide open.
Open for Senegal.
Okay. Absolutely. We also have the playoffs between the Interconfederation or whatever. CONMEBOL versus AFC. So it's Honduras versus Australia, 2 legs. So they'll play both of those. And New Zealand.
Australian cats better be careful in Honduras.
Man, who you telling, dude? And New Zealand plays Peru in the other one.
Yes, the New Zealand-Peru one is... If Peru can get past New Zealand, then they've played a pretty stunning qualifier, so they won't be out of place. They played Brazil twice, Argentina twice, Colombia twice. I kind of want to see what Peru can do. They can be a headache.
So total 23 teams that qualified. There are still 4 UEFA spots up for grab, and both of those qualifiers, these are one-offs, right? Or are these 2 legs? 2 legs, yeah, it's 2 legs. Croatia versus Greece.
Woo!
North Ireland versus Switzerland. Denmark versus Ireland. And then the big one would probably be considered Sweden, Italy.
The Croatia-Greece one has potential for some fire, man. Like, just
In
the
the
fan bases
stands, or-
alone.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And Croatia has talents, man.
No, they do.
Rakitic and
They
boy out in Madrid, Modric.
Modric, yeah.
That's a wicked midfield. Perisic up front.
Yeah, no, that should be nice.
Yeah.
Club football will return after that with some heavy-hitting derbies, man. Arsenal, Tottenham, North London derby.
North London derby.
Atletico Real.
Less intriguing because Atletico seems to always lay down for Real.
For sure, but it's still one of the big games in La Liga.
Understood.
Roma, Lazio. 4th and 5th. That seems pretty fun.
That's always contentious. Was it Derby de Capitale?
The Roman derby. Fuck that.
The Eternal City Derby, I think is what it's called.
Okay. And then the other interesting game over there is Napoli AC Milan. See if AC can get a run under the belt and start building a little something.
That's definitely to me, out of the 2, would be the more exciting game. Just because the AC Milan storyline and Napoli, and that so much could happen.
No doubt. Well, let me tell you what's about to happen. We're about to be done.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's the match whistle. Stoppage time is irrelevant. I want to thank you for tuning in to Diving for Glory episode 14.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, Diving for Glory posts every Tuesday on iTunes and divingforglory.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Diving for Glory. That's FOR, hashtag Diving for Glory. Like us, tag us, add us, talk trash, do something.
Comment, everything.
Be productive, man.
Yes, listen.
Yo.
Teach you things.
Once again, it's Corciola and Solomon.
We out.
One.
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving it.